Welcome to our deep dive into letting go and moving on. Sounds like you might be going through a breakup and looking for ways to heal and move forward. And, well, we're going to explore some insights from Let Go, a guide to emotional healing after a relationship ends. I'm excited to dig into this.
Yeah, it's something that a lot of people can relate to. Let go really emphasizes acceptance as the first step, which I think we can all agree can be pretty tough.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's not just losing the person, right? But all those hopes and dreams that you shared, the routines, that special connection, that's a lot to process.
Definitely. And what's really interesting is that our brains tend to cling to what we've lost. It's like that sunk cost fallacy where we fixate on all that time and energy we invested, which makes like even harder to just accept that it's over.
So it's like we're almost fighting against logic because emotionally we're so invested.
Exactly. Let go talks about how this resistance often shows up as denial. We might tell ourselves, oh, maybe they'll change their mind, or, if I just do this one thing, they'll come back. But prolonging denial only prolongs the pain.
Right. It's like delaying the inevitable.
Yeah.
So if acceptance is the goal, how do we even get there? It can't be as simple as telling yourself to accept it, can it?
You're right. It's definitely a process. It's not just like a switch you can flip. Let go actually does a great job of breaking it down into like actionable steps. It compares heartbreak to grieving, which I think is a really helpful analogy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like you go through these intense waves of emotion, right?
Mhm.
One minute you're numb, and then the next you're crying, and then suddenly you're angry. It's like a roller coaster.
Exactly. It's about acknowledging those emotional waves, but not getting swept away by them. Shock, sadness, anger, even guilt. They're all part of the process.
Yeah.
What the book emphasizes is that it's about moving through those feelings, not getting stuck.
Oh, that's reassuring because it makes all those feelings seem more normal. Less like something's wrong with you.
Right.
So how do we even ride those waves without getting stuck? What are some tangible steps we can take?
Well, one of the first things that Let Go suggests is acknowledging the reality of the situation. And this might sound obvious, but it's about actively, consciously reminding yourself that the relationship is over.
So no more fantasizing about getting back together or holding on to false hope.
Right.
Okay. It's like ripping off the Band-Aid, right? Might sting at first, but at least it lets the healing begin.
Exactly. The source actually suggests actually verbalizing it, like saying out loud, this relationship is over. It's time for me to focus on myself and my future.
Wow. I can see how powerful that could be. Like just hearing yourself say it out loud makes it more real. So what's next in this acceptance process?
The next step Let Go recommends is creating your own closure. And this is especially important if you didn't get closure from your ex. It suggests like writing a letter, pouring out all your feelings, but not necessarily sending it. It's more about releasing those thoughts and emotions in a safe space.
That unsent letter idea is really intriguing. It seems like it could be cathartic. Almost like giving yourself permission to say everything you need to say, but without the pressure of a response.
Exactly. It's about releasing any emotional baggage that you might be carrying.
Yeah?
Helps you detach from that lingering hope that things might change.
This is already making me rethink how I've dealt with breakups in the past. There's so much more to it than just trying to forget about the person.
Absolutely. And another crucial step in this acceptance phase that the source highlights is affirming your worth. Breakups can really do a number on your self-esteem.
Oh, tell me about it. It's so easy to fall into that trap of self-doubt, and you start questioning your value. So how does let go suggest we combat that?
The book encourages you to remind yourself of your inherent worth, to like literally say to yourself, I am enough. I deserve love that is mutual, healthy, and fulfilling. It's about countering that negative self-talk with positive affirmations.
Okay, I am putting that on a sticky note right now.
Yeah.
I can see how consciously shifting that inner dialogue can make such a huge difference in how you see yourself. So we've acknowledged the reality, created our own closure, and now we're actively affirming our worth. What else is key to reaching acceptance?
The book really stresses the importance of patience and self-compassion. It reminds us that healing takes time. It's not a race. Some days will be harder than others, and that's okay.
So no beating yourself up if you have a day where you feel like you're back at square one.
Exactly. Healing isn't linear. Let Go emphasizes that each day, even the tough ones, brings you closer to peace. It's about trusting the process.
Hmm. That's a helpful perspective. So we've covered acceptance and all those like vital steps to get there. But what about actually moving forward?
Well, Let Go offers some really insightful and practical advice on that front as well. It frames moving forward as not just coping, but rediscovering yourself and building a life you love, even without that person.
I love that. It's like turning a painful ending into an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. What are some of the things Let Go suggests?
One of the first things it suggests is limiting contact with your ex, if that's possible for you, of course.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes you just need that space to really process everything without those old feelings resurfacing every time you interact.
Exactly. It's not about being vindictive or anything, but recognizing that continued contact, especially early on, can really hinder your emotional progress.
It's like giving yourself the gift of distance to allow those wounds to heal.
That's a great way to put it. Let Go emphasizes that this doesn't have to be forever, but that initial separation can be so crucial.
So what else does the book suggest in terms of moving forward? I'm ready to take action.
Well, another key recommendation is to rediscover your passions. Think about those activities you loved before the relationship, the things that really light you up. What have you been neglecting that brought you joy?
It's like reconnecting with parts of yourself that might have gotten lost in the relationship.
Precisely. It ties back to rebuilding your sense of self. When you invest in things that make you happy, you're essentially reminding yourself of who you are outside of that relationship.
It's not just about distraction then. It's about rediscovering your own identity and what brings you fulfillment. I love that.
Absolutely. And Let Go also stresses the importance of leaning on your support system. Talk to your friends, your family, or a therapist if that feels right for you. You don't have to navigate this alone.
So true. Sometimes just talking about it can make a world of difference. It helps to process those emotions in a healthier way.
Exactly. Sharing your feelings with people who care can really lighten the load and offer new perspectives.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together. It's not just about letting go of the person, but letting go of the pain, the anger, any resentment you might be holding on to.
You've hit the nail on the head. Let Go emphasizes that true healing really starts with self-love. It's about choosing happiness and making choices that align with your values.
It's like taking all that energy you were pouring into the relationship and redirecting it towards yourself and your own well-being.
Precisely. And that can mean setting boundaries, pursuing your passions, and nurturing those supportive relationships we talked about.
That's really empowering. It feels like you're reclaiming your life and choosing to invest in your own happiness. But let's say you're doing all the work, you're practicing self-care, you're even starting to feel happy again. And then out of nowhere, you have a day where the sadness just hits you hard, or you see your ex and all those feelings come rushing back. Is that normal?
Totally normal. Healing isn't a linear process. Let Go actually cautions against expecting it to be this smooth upward trajectory. There will be ups and downs.
So more like a roller coaster with its twists and turns.
Exactly. Some days you'll feel strong and confident. Other days you might feel like you're back at square one. The key is to be kind to yourself through it all.
It's a good reminder. It's easy to get discouraged when those setbacks happen, but it sounds like it's about acknowledging those feelings without letting them take over.
Exactly. Remember how far you've come. Focus on the progress you've made. Those moments of sadness will pass. They don't erase all the work you've done.
It's like those moments are just temporary detours on the road to healing.
That's a great way to think about it. And as you continue to heal, those detours will become less frequent and less intense.
So we've talked about the emotional and practical aspects of letting go, but what about the bigger picture? How does this experience ultimately change us?
Well, as Let Go suggests, breakups, as painful as they are, can be incredibly transformative. They can teach us valuable lessons about ourselves, about love, and about what we truly want in a partner.
It's like we emerge from the experience stronger and wiser, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time.
Exactly. We learn to set healthier boundaries, to communicate our needs more effectively, and to recognize red flags. We become more resilient, more self-aware, and ultimately more capable of building healthy, fulfilling relationships in the future.
So it's not just about letting go of a person, but letting go of old patterns and beliefs that no longer serve us. It's about personal growth.
That's a powerful insight. It's about using this experience as a catalyst for positive change. It's a new beginning.
That's really inspiring. So for our listeners out there who are going through a breakup, remember that you're not alone. Let go reminds us that healing is possible and that you have the strength within yourself to move forward and create a life filled with love, joy, and fulfillment. What a powerful message.
It is. And as we move forward, it's important to remember that we're not alone in this journey. There are countless others who have gone through similar experiences and come out the other side stronger and happier.
That's so important to remember. There's comfort in knowing you're not the only one who's felt this way. Now we've talked about the overall impact of breakups and how to move on. Let go touches upon something I think a lot of people struggle with, those lingering feelings for your ex. It says that letting go doesn't mean forgetting. How do we navigate that?
That's a great question, and let go acknowledges that those feelings don't just vanish overnight. It's about learning to manage them in a healthy way.
So it's not about suppressing those feelings, but more about reframing them.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that it's okay to still care about someone even if the relationship is over. But you don't have to let those feelings control you or define your present and future.
That makes so much sense. It's like acknowledging those feelings while letting them derail your progress.
Precisely, let go even talks about the importance of forgiveness, both for yourself and for the other person. Now, this isn't about condoning any hurtful actions, but it's about releasing that resentment so you can truly move on.
Forgiveness could be such a powerful tool for healing, but it's definitely not easy. Are there any tips from Let Go on how to actually practice forgiveness?
The book suggests a really helpful approach. Instead of dwelling on the negative, try to shift your perspective and ask yourself, what did this experience teach me? How can I grow from this? Focus on the lessons learned.
So it's about finding the silver lining even in the midst of heartbreak. It's about transforming those painful experiences into something positive. Yeah, that's such a powerful shift in perspective. Instead of getting stuck in the hurt and the blame, you're choosing to look for the growth opportunity.
Exactly. You're taking that pain and turning it into fuel for your journey forward.
Love it. So it sounds like as we start to focus on those lessons, the anger and the resentment naturally start to fade.
Right. It's like you're freeing up all that emotional energy to focus on what really matters.
You're retheming your power, choosing to move on from the hurt and towards healing.
You got it. And that's where the idea of self-love comes in, let go, really emphasizes that true healing begins with loving yourself enough to choose happiness. It's about recognizing your worth and making choices that actually reflect that.
And those choices can include setting boundaries, rediscovering your passions, nurturing those supportive relationships we talked about, all those things that contribute to a sense of well-being and self-love.
Absolutely. It's about taking a holistic approach to healing. It's not just about forgetting the person, but becoming the best version of yourself.
It's funny because sometimes we get so caught up in this idea that letting go means we've somehow failed or that the relationship wasn't worth it. But let go really challenges that notion.
It does. The book highlights that every relationship, even the ones that end, serves a purpose in our lives. They teach us lessons, they help us grow, and they shape who we become. It's about recognizing the value of the experience.
So instead of viewing the breakup as a loss, we can see it as a stepping stone on our path.
Exactly. And sometimes, as let go reminds us, the greatest act of self-love is knowing when to walk away from something that no longer serves you. It takes a lot of courage to do that.
Yeah, it's like choosing yourself and your own well-being.
That's powerful. Letting go becomes this act of empowerment, not defeat. It's about reclaiming your power and moving forward with confidence and with clarity.
That's a message I think we all need to hear, whether we're going through a breakup or not. Sometimes we need to let go of things that are holding us back in other areas of life too, right? Whether it's a job, a limiting belief, or even a friendship that's no longer serving us.
Such a good point. The principles of letting go, as outlined in Let Go, can be applied to so many different areas of our lives. It's about recognizing when something has run its course and having the courage to release it.
Well, we've covered so much in this deep dive. We explored that emotional roller coaster of heartbreak, those essential steps to acceptance, the power of self-love, and the transformative potential of letting go. It's been quite a journey. What's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from all of this?
I think the biggest takeaway is that they're not alone. Healing is possible, and they have the strength to move forward and create a life filled with love and joy and fulfillment.
So well said. And remember, as Let Go reminds us, letting go is not the end of your story. It's just the beginning of a new and exciting chapter. So embrace the journey, rediscover yourself, and create a life that truly lights you up. We're all rooting for you. 525.